Hi guys, welcome to Buildapalooza, your boardpod.com series for discussing all the frenzies, excitement, and wildness of building a business. Whatever business, by everyday young people in Nigeria. I'm your host, Kelechi. Today I have an exciting guest, ID Freeman. He's the CEO and co-founder of Center for Strategic Enterprise Development, CSED. You're welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Kelechi.
All right, today we are going to be having a very interesting discussion, building social enterprises, attracting government, twists and turns. What should you know about building a social enterprise, attracting government? Mr. ID has a lot to say. Let's start with your enterprise, your social enterprise. Tell us about it, CSED.
Okay, Center for Strategic Enterprise Development. We started the journey in 2015, actually, and we started with research, trying to find out how can we help small and medium enterprises and startups to grow and create jobs thereabout. So we started the research with the help of, in 2017, we got assistance from World Bank. And in 2018, we got into partnership and set up an incubator to experiment and see if by supporting small businesses, supporting startups, if then will be the time that you frame that will take them to create a job. So we did that, and in 2019, based on all the accumulated results that we have gotten, we decided that, okay, this is not time to have a proper structure so that we can drive all that we have experienced or that we have discovered along the line. So in 2019, we decided to incorporate Center for Strategic Enterprise Development, and we started operation fully 2021. So as in 2021, we have actually we have made some visible impacts in the 3 years plus of our existence thereabout, and we have redefined what it means to run non-profit organization in Nigeria. By the way of not folding our hands and just searching for grants up and down, looking for where to get grants or thereabout before we can do anything, execute anything. Rather, we have decided that we need to create streams of income within what we are doing so that we can have access to funds and run what we are doing effectively without dancing to the different ideological terrorism that is.
We are taking this.
Ideological terrorism that is upsurging in the world currently.
Okay. Let's look at social enterprises. I mean, that forms a basis for what we're discussing. But while you were explaining certain things, you talked about non-profits.
Yeah.
Can we say that social enterprises are also non-profits? I mean, I think that from this conversation we had before, we mentioned that some social enterprises are for profit. What's the, can you break that down? Social enterprises, non-profits, for profits, and
Yeah, okay. I think the starting point should be first to understand what is social enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah, a social enterprise is simply your business, a cause you're pushing with social objectives.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a pure business you're doing, but you are driving social objectives. And these social objectives could be that, I have seen some poverty around me, and this poverty that if I get more successful, this particular poor people around me will create problem for me. So I become a risk for me. Therefore, how do I meet the need of these poor people so that they can move from abject poverty level to poverty level and to at least a poverty level where they can think right and begin to think about what they can do with themselves thereabout. So that, having seen that, I start thinking about, okay, how do I solve that problem? Okay. How do I incorporate it into my business? Okay. How do I incorporate it into what I'm doing? And that makes what you're doing a social enterprise.
Oh, I see.
Thereabout. So in our own case, as Center for Strategic Enterprise Development, we decided that, we want to deal with the issue of poverty. The poverty rate is increasing in Africa, is decreasing in other countries, but in Nigeria, in Africa, is increasing. thereabouts. So
we increase in population, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm just if it also different government policies actually are causing people to drop from poverty level to abject poverty level, and then different policies actually erasing the middle class, and then creating just two parallel lane thereabout, the upper, the highly rich and the extreme poor. So there's so many factors that are involved in this. So we decided that we want to deal with that.
Okay.
So the first thing that we did after our research that I told you that we started from 2015, we decided to choose an approach, a strategy. Our strategy is that, okay, for us to do poverty, we are not aiming to eradicate poverty. We are aiming to reduce poverty. So what we are doing at Center for Strategy is a poverty reduction. And then we have chosen a strategy. Our strategy is very simple and straightforward. That if we can support enterprises, micro, small, and medium businesses, and if we can support startups or create new startups and help them to grow, then we genuinely need employees, which is sustainable employment creation, not the kind of that some governments create. Okay, we want to build road. So we have created a job, the laborers are job thereabout.
And then they lose that and the road is down, yeah.
So those are not sustainable. So we are looking at sustainable job creation. So we say, okay, if we support small businesses to create this job, then we employ people. And these people that employ, they have gone out of the poverty pool.
Okay.
And then from
the abject poverty pool.
From the abject poverty pool. And then they have the opportunity to get into to leave poverty pool, and move into personal development, into prosperity, and then first prospering themselves and moving into creating prosperity for others. And one of the interesting things about also lifting people from that particular abject poverty, or employing people, giving people a regular means of income, livelihood, through sustainable job creation. One of the interesting things is that every person that is gainfully employed have at least 5 people that are depending on them, that are eating from that particular salary. And what happens is that if this person is gainfully employed and 5 people, family members, friends, people that are close, people that are living together, sharing a flatmate thereabout, now these people will be at a place where they can think right first, because when you are sure of 1 square meal or 2 square meal in a day, you can think about what can I do with my life? How can I contribute to the society? So that is the first thing.
Else you'll be thinking about what?
Yeah, if you are not sure of where the first square meal is coming for the day, you'll spend that day thinking about how do I eat, not what can I do with my life, not how do I contribute, how do I eat? Because in Maslow's hierarchy of need, first you need to meet that food. Thereabout. So that is what we are doing at Center. We are reducing poverty. Our approach, support small businesses, help them to grow, help them create jobs. And now growth means different things for different businesses. And I help them to create jobs. Let this job lift people out of abject poverty. And this is what we are doing. And we have different platforms to give to achieve this particular objective thereabout.
Awesome. So I think that we have talked about what social enterprises are briefly, obviously, and how they can be for-profit and non-profit. You know, for people who are really looking to do this, whether as a for-profit or non-profit, you know, for a bunch of us, and I'm saying us because I have a serious interest in doing this as well. For a bunch of us, we know that it is easier to make certain things, to get some, to be successful at doing these things when you have government support, you know. So, and we are really looking to attract government, work with government in doing this. I don't think that there is any social enterprise, you know, that can do this alone. It might not be with government, it might be with partnerships, right? So I think I'll start by saying, what are the best forms of partnerships that a social enterprise will need in order to ensure that their goals are met?
Okay, yeah, the partnership is broad. And partnership have different approaches and different objectives. There should be a different objective for partnership, and this objective will fund the strategy that you use in your partnership. Okay. And now, first is what is the cost that your social enterprise is driving. Now, when you identify the cost, this cost, your strategy comes out from this particular cost that you're pushing. Now, if it's a cost that requires some, almost all the costs requires government backing and requires basically what you need a policy backing, you need a financial backing. You need policy, financial, manpower, intellectual backing. Yeah. And then your partnership strategy should cover the spectrum of these areas that you require. Now, when you are talking about policy backing, you need government. True. And let's take for example, what we are dealing with is poverty and businesses. Okay. So in our own case, we need government at different levels. At the ministry level, at the agency level, we need government in different programs. So we need government mostly at the project level where we are collaborating with them. So to attract government is very, very easy. Okay. But working with government is what is difficult.
So, I think I understand this.
Yeah, so to attract government, all what we need to do is that the course you're pushing, mainstream it within the mandate and objective of that government ministry or government agency. Okay. And then approach them and say, okay, this is your mandate to do this A, B, C, D. And then we are doing A, B, C, D. So we could add as one platform to help you to achieve your objective. And we are in touch with this particular segment of your beneficiaries or your target audience. So maybe the grassroots, we are in touch with them thereabout. So we can help you step down what you're doing. Government will partner with you.
Awesome. Well, yeah, you mentioned that working with them. So let's talk about working with government then. Because this was supposed to be building social enterprises and then attracting government. But since you said that it is very, in your words, very easy to attract government, but it is more difficult to work with government. I'd like you to share. I know there are several areas where you've had to work with government, where you've had to partner with government agencies just to try and make a lot of things work. So tell us about one of those areas where you've had to look to government, where you've had to partner with government. How did it turn out? What were the pros and cons? What were the challenges? And how efficiently was it working with government in those cases? Yeah,
working with government is interesting, but the first thing there that you have to know is that when you're working with the government, you're working with a group of civil servants who will get their salary at the end of the month, whether the project succeeds or not.
Sadly.
So that is one. Then two, for you to work with them effective, so their disposition is neutral in what you're doing. And you're working with the people that will sit down with you on the table, then we smile, then we raise your hope, then we make promises, and then after all the promises, then we end it up with we end up with we are going to get approval from our superior. Okay. That is one. Then two, you're working with the people that even when you address some certain letter, then we take it to water the letter down before it can get to the place that will be approved. And by the time it goes to the place that will be approved, it will be difficult for the person to approve it.
Wait, are you saying that people get to rewrite what you have written?
Yeah, of course. Because when you're working with the government, you're partnering with them. You have to make it to be seen to be partnership.
Oh, I see.
And that partnership means that if you are generating a letter, you have to call it a draft or first draft. Because you cannot give them final draft. You're dictating for them. Yeah. So the first draft, you have to forward to them and you have to send, please review, make your inputs and comment. Kindly review and make your inputs. And they're going to review. And after reviewing, and they ship back to you. So some of the things that we have made, they say, no, this is how we do it. This is how it should be.
This is how we do it. And that's like one of the biggest problems we probably have, how we do it. You don't seek out new ways of doing things sometimes. Is that so much of a problem? This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. Of course, it's a problem in the sense that these civil servants are stationed, in quotes, but the decision makers are appointed.
Okay.
They are in transit. So, for instance, in a ministry, the minister is appointed. The pansec to the directors are stationed. So they have the way they do their thing, and they want you to comply. But the minister who will make the final decision, or the DG, Director General, who will make the final decision, is coming maybe from a private sector.
Okay.
Or maybe it's coming from a different orientation. And by the time they would think that is the way they are doing things, that the letter have been watered down to that, and you send it to the final decision maker, it's not speaking to the person based on the background where the person is coming from. If it's a private sector, the letter have to speak to show him that even though it's government, is a public sector right now, but you have to see some private element that will show that this project is sustainable and is self-sustaining and self-sufficiency. That if it will not be depending on public fund, everything to be executed. So that is why is issue thereabout.
Tell us about this. You are going to do something around funding for SMEs, and the last time we spoke about this was last year. But I'm made to understand that it's still an ongoing process.
Okay.
What's been happening?
Actually, we set out to set up, we discovered that one of the key number one challenge that SME has in Nigeria is actually funding. According to International Monetary Fund, there is actually about $158.1 billion funding gap for MSME annually in Nigeria.
Just Nigeria, not even Africa?
Just Nigeria annually. Every year, this funding gap.
Yes.
Billion
USD.
And these funds is required for SME to purchase machineries. It's required to maintain their operations. It's required for them to be able to pay their salaries. It's required for them to be able to brand their products. It's required for them to market their products. It's required for them to expand their businesses. But they don't have access to these particular funds. Okay. Now we begin to think, how do we solve this problem? Not just reading IMF and the World Bank and all that reports and then keep it and then we discuss it, analyze it. How do we solve that problem? We say, okay, let's put together event that we are going to mobilize the funding partners from public, private, and development sectors. Let's come and do two things. One, let's dialogue. Let's talk and find solutions that is holistic in solving this problem. Two, let's practice what we want to discuss by providing at least $2 million funding for SME in Nigeria at a spot within 48 hours. And all the people that we did this thing, then jump at it. The ministry, they partner with us. Everybody, we have about the 14 agencies that are members of the organizing committee thereabout. But now we get into money matter. So the money matter, that is where we are still discussing and all that. But one of the things that we learned in dealing with government is that number one, when you are approaching government for partnership, don't go with the mindset that you are not expecting money from them.
Okay.
Go with the mindset that I want to associate with government, partner with them, leverage on their credibility, leverage on their name to drive. The reason why this is important is that when you're dealing with diplomats, when you're dealing with embassies, when you're dealing with international development agencies, they will not make meaningful contribution in what you're doing if you don't have government backing. And the reason why they need government backing is that they don't want to invest their resources, invest their time, invest their intellectual property into a project, only halfway, government will change a policy, and that is truncated. But when government is backing, is part of that particular project, they are sure that the policy will be sustained thereabout. So that is one. And then two, when you're approaching government for a partnership, have at the back of your mind that I want to partner with government so that I can leverage on their platform to co-mobilize funding. Every government agency have private sectors that are dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
Have private sectors that are regulating or private sectors that are doing business with thereabouts. So when you partner with government agency, what you should be requesting, instead of requesting for money, request for them to make way for you to partner with private organization that will fund what you're doing. So this is some of the lessons, because even within the government agency, there are some funny stories thereabouts that if even meet some, then we call you back and say, see, this is your project that you're doing. We are partnered with them. Okay, we have made it a budget line. Funding is coming from it as a budget thereabout. But you go and source for your money thereabout, because this budget is, when we see what you're doing, we can take some from this budget and give you. And you begin to ask yourself, but I thought that this budget is meant for this project.
For this project.
Thereabout, yeah. So, but that is the reality on ground, and when you cannot change this particular reality by just talking about it, by just complaining thereabout. The way to change it is to look for alternative, partner with them, look for alternative, create a platform where your platform is strong enough and it will give you a voice that will be heard. So when you have a voice, you cannot start addressing those issues, but you cannot address them while you're not, because your voice before you create a platform. Because if your platform is still a baby, and that platform you start addressing this, and then we kill it as a baby. But when the platform has matured as an adult, and maybe a grandpa who has nothing to lose, who is close to the grave, so there's nothing you can do about it. So he will tell you the truth. If you like to hear the truth or the other, but you will initiate some certain things. And then also it can create one of the things that I also tell young people that are going into social enterprise. Don't confront. Don't come out and say, and begin to claim activist. And begin to confront the system, because the system will swallow you. The establishment will kill you. What you need to do is create alternatives. We're
going to talk about these alternatives. After you're done with this, you've said it quite a bit. Create alternatives. And I think that it's something that the viewers will really want to know about. What forms of alternatives can I create to ensure that if government is not forthcoming, I can, just go ahead with. So just wrap up with this and let's talk about alternatives quickly.
Yeah. So create alternatives. Thereabout, generally. So that is one of the things, when you're working with the government, expecting to work with government, put your mind frame, and then you will succeed working with them. And then lastly, also, when you're working with the government, make sure that you're ready to drive your project. It's your project. Don't leave it before government, civil servants. Civil servants will come, we invite them for a meeting, then we drink the tea and talk and speak and all that. Yes. Then we drink the tea, then we smile, make projection and tell you, wow, this, once you have a ton of number of people that attended the meeting, you had a successful meeting for them. That's what they will tell you. You had a successful meeting. That was a successful meeting. Thereabouts, everybody will just smile. Oh, from our own end, we see what we will do. And then go and follow up later on. Then we tell you, oh, I have done my internal memo. I'm waiting for approval. And some can wait for approval throughout the duration of the project. So if you're waiting for approval, you might not be able to execute your project.
Is this a Nigerian thing? Do you reckon that it is probably worldwide, having all these challenges back and forth with governments? How have the people who succeeded in working with government done so? Do you think that there has been no one who achieved it very quickly, swiftly, and efficiently? What can we do in making sure that, working with government can be smooth? in order to aid what we're trying to achieve?
Yeah. Okay. One is that the first question about if it's a worldwide issue. First is that I have worked with German government in our project, and we have worked with UK, thereabouts, United Kingdom. And in German government, one of the things that we have learned is that when you're dealing with government, the process is the process. And the process most time takes time. But one of the things that we have discovered that is different between some of the government, foreign governments we have worked with and Nigerian government ministries, agencies, is you cannot predict the Nigerian government. When you're working with the foreign government, then we tell you, first orientation, the first meeting is that they're telling you, okay, this is what we're going to provide. This is the time duration it will take. This is the process. We require this document. We need this. If you're able to provide this thing in a day, it will take you about a week, and we're done with the process. If you're able to provide this in a week, it will take you about 2 weeks or a month. Thereabouts, we are done. But in Nigerian government and in the Nigerian agencies and ministries, thereabouts, you can't predict when you're going to come out of that situation. That is a difference. And the reason is that the civil servants that are working. In fact, I had an experience in one of the agencies that we work with, that the civil servant, that the civil servant in charge of it's not really that he was in charge, but he was given to sign some document for us, to sign a letter that we are taking out. He will invite me, he wants me to come before the letter can be signed. You know why? When I come, he said he doesn't have pen. That he need 1,000 naira to buy pen.
That's hilarious.
The photocopy is, there's no paper. Okay, we need letter-headed paper to write something to shift us, because based on the partnership, we write on government letter-headed paper to the letters thereabout.
Okay.
He was telling me that we have to buy a ream of letter-headed paper. Why the admin I say you come and take paper letter, So these are the things that are different. Just little.
Everyone in the Nigerian system is trying to survive. Okay. I know that we have not even scratched the surface talking about social enterprises and stuff. I think that conversation, that topic is huge in itself. Then talking about governments and all of the razzmatazz that happens within that space is also a big thing. I would like to have you some other time to talk about social enterprises, how, people who want to focus on for-profits and those who want to focus on non-profits, can really, really do this and succeed. And then maybe some other time to also talk about government, because the story you told me about government is about how you have tried to work with them over a period of time. I'm yet to hear it. But thank you so much for coming, Mr. Freeman. Guys, building a social enterprise, I think everyone should have a social enterprise. If not for anything, we can see the benefits today of, I think it's chess.
Yeah, chess from slum.
Chess to slum, or chess from slum, rather.
A chess in the slum.
So many names we are giving it right now, but the impact that he's making and how much impact people who are looking to do social impact are also trying to achieve. And so I think it's something for everybody. So if you really want to learn about working with government, in this thing, I think you should tune in. We're going to bring him back in one of our other episodes so that you can learn more about all of the twists and turns, and what it will take to get government to work with you. All right, thank you so much for coming. I am sure you guys have learned a lot. There are a lot of things to talk about as it concerns social enterprises, working with government. It's a whole lot. These topics are things that we cannot even dissect, talking about each of them alone, but we have tried to put them together. So I appreciate you for coming. We are going to have this conversation some other time, and we are going to bring Mr. Freeman to dissect these topics, and I'm sure that you will be really excited from all of those things. But yeah, don't forget, we are on Instagram, at Buildapalooza. We are also on boardpod.com. So make sure you visit boardpod.com, YouTube, like, subscribe, follow us, tell your friends so that we can thrive in this. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you in another episode. Bye-bye.